Before we even get started, let's go ahead and open up our picture settings on the LG C10. I am in Filmmaker HDR mode, and I'll show you that by zooming in here. I'm in the Filmmaker mode, and HDR is enabled. So now that you guys see that, we're going to go a step further, and then we're going to go into the picture settings, where then you can see energy saving mode is off, and then additionally, I don't have eye comfort mode on. Then we are in the Filmmaker mode user, which is the most accurate that you guys are going to find. Okay, at least out of the box anyway. I didn't do anything to the brightness, that's at 50. I turned up the OLED light and the contrast to 100 to give it extra brightness. I raised the color to 70 to try to give it something more. You go into the advanced picture settings, dynamic tone mapping is turned on to try to help it stand out and give it some extra pop, because if we turn it off, it'll help colors a bit, but it'll get very dark. So I don't know if that's something you guys will want. You'll lose a lot of luminosity for that. So most people will probably just leave it on. Now, I have the color gamut set to wide. Most people aren't doing that. Most people will tell you, put it on automatic. But automatic will default you to extended, not wide. And wide gives you a little extra throw on the color. Then you go into the white balance. I have it set to warm 2. Warm 3 will just overly warm everything and make everything way too yellow, and that's what a lot of reviewers are doing to try to show extra color. Because when you have warm or a warm picture profile, you are opening up more shades of color, because that's just how it works. The warmer they are, the more vibrant they end up looking than opposed to a dead washed cool picture. Now I have it set to warm 2 because that's accurate for the white points without making your whites yellow. Okay, so then we can get out of that. I've disabled my calibration because I've been told I don't know how to calibrate and I'm doing it wrong and messing up the white points. Of course, these are the LG apologists saying that because I'm showing facts instead of opinions. So I've disabled it and I've allowed the accuracy of Filmmaker mode to just do it for us. And with that, that's pretty much it. There's not anything happening here outside of what I'm showing you. And maybe by itself, the LG C10 can be a really beautiful TV. But when you introduce an element of a better TV like the Samsung Q8FN, there can be no doubt in anyone's mind which TV is clearly better. There's more color, there's more warmth, and everybody tries to say that it's oversaturated, but it's not. It's an excuse because LG is the more washed out television. And I don't get this excuse making in 2020. If you are losing a comparison, wouldn't it make more sense to say, hey, listen, I like what that TV does. How do we lobby with LG to get more of a picture quality like that? And it just doesn't make any sense that it's the reverse. Everybody tries to say, I'm playing with settings. I've intentionally done something to hurt LG, or I don't know what I'm doing, or something's set incorrectly. I mean, not for nothing, I was a professional TV calibrator. I just recently stopped doing it, but I've still got all the skills and know-how. I just don't understand how the narrative can change so dramatically to I don't know what I'm doing every single time, not sometimes, not half of the time, every single time LG doesn't perform in a way that meets expectations. I've now done something. And I've seen this on forums, and I've seen this on the internet all around. Anytime somebody shows you pictures like this, for example, where you have the white on the Spearson and Munsell UHD benchmark test clearly showing up as a bluish grayish color compared to something like the Samsung Q8FN. It's always, oh, I don't see that in real life. Those differences aren't real. It's just the camera. Well, let me be the first to tell you, with my naked eye, as I'm looking at it, it looks exactly like that. I see a blue hue on the LG C10. Counteractively, on the Samsung Q8FN, I see a bit of a magenta push. That is not correctable. You can't get that magenta push out. Now, that being said, between the two TVs, obviously the Samsung Q8FN looks better because it has the more realistic expression of color. The LG C10 rocking the bluish gray color tone is not ideal for anybody. And if you don't believe me, watch what happens when we get to this horse scene right here, where again, everything's just like a dead, kind of morbid scene. And then again, with the deer right here, we're seeing really big differences, and these differences continue to happen as a common theme throughout like all of these videos that I've seen people compare against the C10 and you know, other TVs out there. Now, take a look at this scene, how much more vibrant it is in HDR versus the dead look. I mean, it actually looks like the sun is setting on the Q8FN, where on the C10 it doesn't. Now, if at any point in time I mix up these names, I'm only human, so, you know, don't freak out or anything, but you guys get what I'm saying. This blew my mind just watching this scene come in. The blue on that Q8FN, good God, it's amazing. It's the kind of stuff that makes me literally like fall in love with my TV all over again. And really is a testament to how amazingly well they've really built that Samsung up. Now, to be fair, the Samsungs on the market right now are way worse than this. They look so much worse than the Q8FN, and I've been the only person really aggressively calling Samsung out for this. They've trashed their entire QLED line for the sake of 8K and whatever's coming next, I guess. But this is a champion TV going up against what's supposed to be the best in 2020, and the best of 2020 is getting spanked. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, getting spanked because it's just not the best. And when I look at all of these different comparisons and I go scene after scene after scene, it's so clear what's happening here. The LG C10 is receiving false favor. People are gaslighting like you wouldn't believe, and I just don't understand, man. I wish I could understand the logic of somebody who sees less color on the LG C10, more color on the Q8FN, and immediately their biggest thing is oversaturated. That's not natural. That's not how it actually looks. And I'm just looking at this with my naked eye, and I'm like, I'm blown away by what I'm seeing on the Q8FN. The color is so immensely amazing. The contrast is so immensely amazing. And, you know, this might sound like I was put up to this review by Samsung or anybody else, but I wasn't. This is an honest reaction to what happens when I compare these displays. And you're seeing it in a dark environment. I have no bloom or a mildly dark environment. It's just an averagely well-lit environment, I guess. I have no blooming, no clouding, no flash lighting, no edge bleeding, no leaking of any kind like what has been suggested by the mainstream AV reporters. I will show you this, dude. I will open up my ISO and you'll see for yourself. See for yourself. See for yourself. There's nothing happening here. No clouding, no blooming, no flash lighting, no uniformity issues to speak of. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But I keep hearing time after time after time after time, LG takes another year. LG is the best, king of TV. Can we stop saying that if it's not true? If it's true, I'll be the first to tell you, and I'll be proud of them for doing it finally. I'll celebrate them for it, because finally they showed up to the conversation. But when every comparison I have done, from the Sony X900E to the Q8FN to the Sony A8G, and now to the we did the KS8000, I mean, and now what we're on right now, I mean, all these comparisons are not in favor of LG. LG is looking worse by comparison. I think this is the only example where I would maybe, like that last piece with the chest on it, that was where I would maybe favor the KS or the C10, so many TV models at this point, a little more. But honestly, guys, as I look at this, I'm not impressed with what I'm seeing from LG, because there's a lot of bold claims being made about LG superiority, and I'm just not seeing it. So that's pretty much it. And I did the BT 2020 1000 HDR demo, you know, and that's that. It is what it is, you know. The 1000 nits of peak brightness that we know exists in SDR, you click on that, or rather in HDR, and these are the results, man. And I'm disappointed that I have so many people unwilling to accept the results. And so I'm going to be getting rid of this thing. I don't think there's any more of a reason to kind of highlight what we all know as a definitive fact right now. The mainstream reports about the C10 being so fantastic are really just commercials. That's why they're doing slow motion footage and really trying to make it professional. They're shooting commercials over there, and I'm shooting real live comparisons, real-time comparisons, open door comparisons. Answer as many questions as you have, always being helpful. And that kind of stuff is being downplayed as just fanboy drivel. And at this stage and where I'm at, I'm just not willing to keep going through this over and over and over again for the sake of LG, guys, to maybe save a buck. I've saved so many people already with my videos, and I feel like You know, I could show you the G-Sync issues. I can show you the grainy issues. I can show you all the various problems that I see on the LG OLED, but no one's ever going to take it seriously so long as the LG community is filled with people that when you look at these side-by-side comparisons and see differences like this, they run to saying, magenta push on the Q8FN, oversaturation. C10 looks more natural to me. I have the C10, it's a beautiful TV. So long as those dumbasses exist, the LG line of televisions will always be garbage, both in LED and in the OLED line. So I hope by putting this out there, maybe it talks some sense into some people who are maybe being a little ignorant. Highly doubt it, because ignorant people don't change. But at the end of the day, these are the results. The LG C10 is a hard pass. I wouldn't recommend buying it. If you like grainy images and low light scenes, go for it. If you like a TV that's washed out and requires a lot of saturation just to get basic levels of color, go right ahead. Again, I'm going to zoom into the LG C10 so everybody knows this definitively as a fact. I'm in HDR, by the way, HDR filmmaker mode. And then when we go into the LG C10 and we look at how much color it takes to still be underpowered, by the way, we're at 70 color. We're at 70 color and it's still not enough to keep up with the Q8FN. So many TV models, really, I'm losing track of them all. We were in a zoom out, right? And as I ramp down from 70 color back to something realistic, like what a lot of people recommend, watch what happens when you go to 50 color. This is what everybody recommends. Look what happens to your image. Get the clarity back. It gets really crappy, guys. Really crappy. And you know, what I've noticed a lot of people try to do when videos like this surface is they like to do little sneaky shit like this. They'll go into their settings and they'll just ramp the OLED up all the way to 100 like this, exit out and say, see, it competes with the Samsung Q8FN. You see, it's every bit as amazing as the Samsung Q8FN on pictures like this. If you do it like that, you can get some nice saturation, but at the end of the day, you are oversaturating your image, which is the exact same thing they ridicule the Samsung for. But when you get to scenes like this, where the sun is clearing over the sky, you're not making up for those gradational details that you're missing on the C10 and areas like this. All of this up here, you're not getting the same level of intensity and colors here and the overall ambiance in the sky up here. You're missing all of that stuff, right? And then when we go into different examples, like, let's go and skip forward a chapter, shall we? Like here, your oversaturation becomes apparent once you hit 100. Now your clouds are completely blown out and they don't actually look like separated clouds like they do on the Samsung Q8FN, because truth be told, the LG C10 isn't capable of color at this level. So then you say, oh, that looks really oversaturated. I know what I have to do. I have to do what needed to be done in the first place, turn the color down. And then some people might try to go middle of the way and go, you know, maybe like 80, 85, right? Let's do 80. And even still, you're noticing a huge level of cartoonish oversaturation here that doesn't exist on the Samsung Q8FN. And I think that's really sad because, you know, you have to really oversaturate on an LG to make it look any kind of proper. And that's the problem here. You have to go to 80 color before you even start showing the same hues and representations. That should not be the case. Now, I won't be showing you my settings on the Samsung Q8FN because they're not for free. I'm not giving that out for just nilly-willy to prove a point. I can tell you that my color is set to, I believe, 36 or 37, between there. I usually stay between 36 and 38. Those are my color ranges for anybody that wants to know. And Samsung line of televisions, color goes up to 50. So that's how I set my TV up. You can do it however you wish, but those are the color values I select. And if you don't believe me, you can go, I don't know, try to fish through and find some old videos proving that, or ask around for people who've already became members and they'll tell you that's exactly what I have it set at. But this is as much proof as anyone will ever need. This is 80 color, and even still, when you get to scenes like this, now your oversaturation becomes very apparent, because what happens with that level of oversaturation, your oranges start turning this blood orange color. You probably can't pick it up very well, but it becomes this very blood orange color. And if you want to get away from that, you need to lower it back down to the correct level where it's not doing all that. And I had it at 70 is where I saw it start to go away. You can maybe get away with 71 maybe, because once you go up to 72, I see the bleeding start to ring in again. So maybe an argument could be made for 71. But then, by comparison, it still doesn't improve the lack of red punch, and it still doesn't improve the overall general ugliness to the display. So, again, I've been warning everybody all year. If I swear to God, if I see anyone in the comment section ask me about this TV, I'm just going to pop you this link and ignore the shit out of you. Because I've, at this point, put an endless amount of time into explaining this situation, and if you still can't accept the results or you refuse to watch the full-length videos, I'm not going to do anything for you from this point forward. The LG C10 is a hard pass. I highly doubt what they're going to come out with next year will be any different from this. I feel like it'll just be another reiteration of this. There's massive color loss. I've said it all. I've literally told you everything you need to know from a picture quality perspective. And this is true in both HDR and in SDR. If you don't believe me, go watch my first video on SDR where I showed it going up against the Sony A8G. No matter how you slice it, the LG C10 is nowhere close to being the best TV of the year. You're being manipulated because of influencer marketing, because there's commissions. Go read their disclaimers. They all tell you we may receive a commission. I'm not putting that shit down there. I'll tell you straight up how I make my money on this channel. I've been very vocal about it. I have community members, and I get people to try to buy things from my Amazon store, but only after making sure they know it's honest and I'm not shilling or anything, which is why on every review I do, I don't attach the links for those videos, because I'm not trying to sell out anybody. The same can't be said about my other colleagues here on YouTube. They don't have the same level of integrity. That being said, these are the results. These are the differences. Believe what you want. No more C10 videos. I'm sick of it. I've covered it at length. I don't think there's any point. I mean, if you guys can make a strong case or an argument as to why I should continue these videos, I maybe might consider it. But right now, I'm feeling like no matter what I tell you, no matter what I show you, you guys are just going to pick whatever you want anyway. Because I still get questions about this TV. I'm still getting people being rude and nasty and all this other stuff. And honestly, for a TV that looks like that to the right, that's all you then. That's your problem. You deserve that TV. I hope you bring it home and act like you're doing some big flex for your family by buying it, just for your wife to be disappointed with you, maybe even divorce you because you've wasted tons of the family money on a TV that was less beautiful than something like the Hisense H9G for $650, all because you couldn't listen or accept a different set of information from something you've heard from what's supposed to be an established corporation. That's the information. That's the video. Take it or leave it.